Hi, welcome to my channel, Reader Woman. My name's Judy, and let's talk what I am viewing. What right now I have been viewing that's been sparking some joy. I have a list, and I used to want to watch every single movie, and it was just a big part of my life, just like reading. With the pandemic, I really haven't been able to just see anything. I have to have lighter content. I've always been drawn to comedies, don't get me wrong. That's not a complete surprise, but I like comedies above everything. And so it's been a challenge, actually, to have any visual stimulus during the past 2 years. Serious movies, it's going to bring strong emotions. I'm, for the most part, not there for it. However, I have found some joy, and I wanted to share it with you and see if you'd seen them, what you thought, and let me know in the comments below if you're watching something that's giving you great joy. Let's talk about it. The first thing that I discovered, and I've discovered that I definitely prefer UK television to American television, and Time Team. I was completely unaware of what this show was, and it was a 20-year program. It went from 1994 to 2014. And basically the premise was they would go to a site and excavate. They would do archaeology on sites around the nation and even into Europe and other places. I haven't seen everything. I mean, this is a heck of a lot of things to view. Their whole gimmick was they were gonna do it for 3 days, find out, and that's it. So 3 days or bust. Which, is kind of silly on one side, but you have to set some limits with this. You could obviously just do it for years and years and years. So they had a wide variety of sites that they went to go see. They saw anything from 4,000 years old to 400, 300, 200. And sorry, my dog. I'm in the family room right now, so I can't control it. But he will be whining periodically. There's no doubt about it. That's just him. He wants me to throw the ball. So, Time Team. It was hosted by an actor, Tony Robinson. They had a cast of archaeologists. Everyone from, Mick Aston, who I fell in love with. He would come in with his striped sweaters. I think they're called jumpers in England. But he was kind of the big picture guy. You had people like Phil Harding, who was actually in the depths of the ditches, digging, sifting, finding whatever they could, whether it was bits of bone or pottery. I mean, pottery was the biggest thing really to find. So anything from Neolithic, Roman, Saxon to the medieval. They were all, excuse me. So in a dig, they would have an idea of what they were going after, what time frame, but the reality was it all depended on what was there. Quite often, which was super fascinating, is they would have a scattering of everything, because if an area was occupied by the Romans or the pre-Roman Britons, then it could be very well have been occupied by the Neolithic. So they would find arrows, arrowheads, and flint, and anyways, fascinating stuff. Fascinating. They also would have, as well as the archaeologists for the dig, they had a landscape investigator, Stuart, who was amazing to see what he could look at maps of the landscape and determine what features were man-made, and he could walk it and find all sorts of things. Sometimes he was surprisingly completely off base, and other times he was spot on. They would also do surveying of the land. Gosh, I forgot his name, but he would have a crew out there. They usually started before the dig came onto the site, and they would send beams into the earth to determine where things were at. It worked in some cases. In like the Neolithic, where everything was built with wood, it didn't work so well. With Roman and more modern things from Anglo-Saxon and all that, they were able to find a lot of other things. But yeah, it's just eye-opening as an American to see digs happening around the nation and to realize how long that island had been occupied by people living there, breathing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So that has definitely been a great find that I find very exciting and relaxing to watch. And one other note on this particular show, the producer, which I don't have his name, but he uploaded it all under Time Team Classics and onto YouTube. And so he has not uploaded all 20 seasons at this point, but he created such a buzz about Time Team that this last year they actually got enough money through Patreon to do, I think it was 2 or 3 digs last summer, and they're planning on doing more this year. So I think it's awesome, not just that this old show that is no longer being shown on regular TV anywhere is being encompassed in YouTube, but also that it's having a new life, a new regeneration. So I have not seen any of the new things, but yeah, it's exciting. I really, really, really have enjoyed this show. And along the same lines, I wanted to talk about a TV show called The Detectorists. That is on Prime, Amazon Prime is where I found that. And the show had 3 seasons from 2014 to 2017. The lead actor was also the writer and director. His name is Mackenzie Crook, and also starring Toby Jones. Both fairly well known. I mean, if you see their faces, you know who they are. Actors. And so this one follows in particular two men who are, middle-aged, in their 30s, who have as their hobby, their lifelong passion, has been metal detectoring. And so they have gotten a farmer to agree that they have exclusive rights to go out and use their metal detectors in his field that he doesn't use. And so I had seen seasons 1 and 2 and really enjoyed it. Quirky characters, odd hobby, and how we all have our odd, quirky hobbies that, bring out the crazies. So I always enjoyed it. But this last season, I don't know if it's because I'd been watching so much Time Team, but the last season, which I just saw last month, hit me so hard, so hard. They were looking for Roman treasure, gold coins. And so you had these modern people And then they used some kind of technique that brought goosebumps on my arms, because then they went back in time and it was like the trees shrank, the earth moved in a different way. I didn't think the acting of these Roman or pre-Roman people were particularly great. I mean, I didn't necessarily buy that, but the way that they created that sense of time and shrinking and expanding, and ultimately these detectorists, you know, are not necessarily archaeologists, but they're most certainly frontline for finding new things, new places to dig and to explore. So I've really enjoyed that show as well. Then, you know, and this particular one got me to want to come back to YouTube. Why exactly? I can say. It's because I don't know anybody who really gives a damn about it. And yet I found it so moving and inspiring. And that is Portrait Artist of the Year. There's also Landscape Artist of the Year. I have not found any place that shows everything in the US. Amazon Prime has, I think, the first 2 or 3 seasons of both. And Sky Arts, I don't know that much about the UK, but I've gathered that Sky is a major company in television. They offer television, I think kind of like the BBC or something like that. I don't know. If you do, please let me know. So it's always Sky Arts, Portrait Artist of the Year. It started, I believe, in 2013, and they had 2 seasons for Portrait Artist, and then they went to a season of Landscape Artist. And it was season 2 in 2014 that particularly caught my eye. The judges, they have 3 judges who, let's see here, how do I say it? They were scouring the UK, and that included Scotland and Ireland, for artists. People could make submissions. And the 3 judges, Ty-Shan Scherenberg, Kathleen Soriano, and Kate Bryan. Ty is a artist himself, and the 2 women, one has been a major curator, Kathleen Soriano, and then Kate Bryan, she works with artists. So they were very experienced in the art world. And they would choose who, from the submissions, who would be allowed to compete. And so they'd have like 6 or 7 heats where they would pull in like 9 different artists who got a chance to paint a portrait in 4 hours. And the group would have some kind of celebrity come and sit for them. So, I mean, it was interesting because who was going to sit, you know, then you had, you know, 3 or 4 people who were doing different drawings of each of them. And then from there, for each heat, they would pick 3 semifinalists, and then from there they'd pick a winner, and that winner was guaranteed a slot then for the major final. And so with season 2, I enjoyed it. I didn't necessarily think that the artist who won, yeah, I'll just break it to you. The artist who won was Christian Hook. And he was from, oh gosh, I forgot which, Mallorca or something? I could be totally off. Gibraltar, I mean, I don't remember, but he was a modernist. And what was interesting that at least 1 or 2 of the judges mentioned by the time that he got to the final 3. In order to paint something within that 4-hour time frame, he was working in a small format. And by the time they got to the finals, he was working in a larger format. And the larger format allowed him to just basically do more with his art. And that artwork blew me away. It was quite something, and he ended up winning. And what he won was the opportunity to go to New York and paint Alan Cumming, the Scottish actor who was in New York with Cabaret. He was starring in Cabaret at the time. And that's where it got magical, because the first season's winner got to paint Hilary Mantel. I thought he'd done better on his submission to get into the finals than he did with the Hilary Mantel. I wasn't as thrilled with it. But then when Christian Hook approached Alan Cumming, magic happened. Magic happened because you had two artists, one a visual artist, another somewhat visual, I guess, with an actor, but they had different mediums. But Christian Hook got to the point where he was letting and including Alan Cumming in the creation of the art. They were playing together, that idea of play. And it was caught on film on this show. And it literally blew my mind. I'd never seen anything like it in person. And then when he had his submission on the wall, he did two portraits. He was going to do a diptych and ended up going, no, I'm just going to do one. And this was for the Scottish National Portrait Gallery. It was going to be hung. I mean, it's a big deal. It was like 10,000 pounds at the time, and, you know, getting to work with a huge star and have it, you know, your painting prominently displayed. It was, you know, it had a nudity aspect to it. It had a raw richness. You looked at the finished piece and my jaw dropped. It was tremendous. You had modernist action time frame all in this beautiful colors and richness. He had a Scottish tartan on, and yet it was a little salacious. It was art. That's what it was. It was art. It wasn't second rate at all. It was top-notch art. And I can remember thinking, who cares what the judges think? You know, because I always, you know, in the TV format, they always love to come back to the judges. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, it really didn't matter at all because he had created art. And then he had given the second piece, which was amazing, to Alan Cumming for him to hang in his own home. Anyways, that particular show, I mean, if you're interested in art at all, I do watercolor, and it's worth watching. You can see it not just on Amazon Prime, but also you can view it on YouTube. It's a little more difficult. It's not archived in any way, and various channels show it. You got to kind of do some research, but it's well worth watching.